to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, short agenda here for the official meeting. And then we're going to adjourn pretty quickly here and go into a workshop to discuss zoning regulations. So first off, we've got to approve the minutes. Have they been sent out? Did the minutes get sent out? Yeah, okay. So we need to, when we've got some minutes that are waiting to be approved, they're being edited. And then last meeting's minutes, we need to get those out to everybody, and then we'll approve them next time. Okay? Okay. There's no new business, no old business, so we're adjourned. Let's go to Casey's. Get pizza. Okay. We just had to do that because when we're working on zoning regulations, it's better not to have an official meeting. We cannot vote on anything tonight because now we're adjourned, so it's not an official meeting. But we can come to consensus or not come to consensus, whatever happens, and then we'll vote later on regulations as we put them all together. So right now, we're just working on the draft. Specifically for battery energy storage systems. This is our third time through it. We got through most of it last time with the exception of noise standards and setback standards. So I'd like to get into that tonight, see if we can't come up with a rough idea of what we want, and then go back through it, see if there's anything we missed. And then there's some other regulations that we need to talk about, maybe talking about next time. So let's get into the noise right away. Hopefully you've done some research on that. We can get some good ideas going. Anybody?
I done a little reading this week.
Turn your mic on.
I done a little reading this week. I did see that most best systems range from 70 to 95 dBA. So I also read that can be controlled by how much intake and how much output with the system. If they're taking in a lot, it will increase the noise. If they're taking in less, it decreases the noise. Same way on the output. As far as what we want to set the dBAs at, let me give you some examples of what the dBA levels are. A vacuum cleaner 10 feet away, 70 dBA. Okay, a passenger car at 65 miles an hour, 25 feet from you when it goes by, 65 dBA. Large store air conditioner unit, 20 feet away, it's 60 dBA. Light auto traffic, 100 feet away, is 50. A quiet rural residential area with no activity is 45. A bedroom or quiet living room and a bird calls, that's 40 dBA. Typical wilderness area is 35 dBA. A quiet library, a soft whisper 15 feet away is 30 dBA. Wilderness with no wind or animal activity is 25 dBA. High quality recording studio is 20 dBA, and acoustic test chamber is 10 dBA. So that gives you kind of an example. At 70 dBA, it's like having a vacuum cleaner 10 feet away from it. So whatever the 70 to 95 is higher than that. Now, they talked about echo. Say you put a vest system in a lower deal and you've got hills on each side, you're going to get an echo. It's going to make it worse. But if you got it up on a hill, you're not going to have near as much noise.
Now, is that going to be a steady hum, or is that just going to deviate depending on the?
I don't know that for sure.
I suppose it makes sense to me that
It
it would be a
would-
consistent noise.
Yeah, because it used to be like at the plant, it was a consistent noise most of the time.
Right. Now, I don't know if there's no noise when they're not bringing
Jenny?
power in or bringing power out. I don't know if it's quiet. I don't know.
Yeah,
Well, it's just the hum of the transformers is all it's
Right.
going to be.
Right.
You know?
I don't think it's consistent.
It makes
Lean,
sense.
can we lean on our expert back there as far as noise?
It's holding sound, it's starting.
So,
The rest of the time is quiet, basically.
But it won't be like a motor that kicks on and off. It'll be a constant noise while it's doing that process.
Well, it's charging and discharging.
Yeah.
But
what's
otherwise-
what's the percentage?
It'll just depend on
It's on demand.
power prices. And
Right.
So what's the most it could be? 100%?
I don't think it ever.
Is the peak demand going to be like in the summer? Where it'd be the 70, 80% roughly?
It's hard to say. It's just go buy power when it's cheap and sell it, or go buy it when it's cheap and sell it when it's expensive. So they'll
So in your
be on it to make money.
So possibly in your spring, when you don't need your air conditioners, don't need heat, your
Demand's not going to be as great.
no, the demand's not going to be great, and you get 100-degree weather, everybody's going to be running their air conditioner, so you got peak demand. So basically, that's what I found out. And as far as the noise, I think we need to hold 50 or below. Now, I know that they have acousticians that will come into a site and prepare that site with sound barriers, berms, trees, and stuff to try to knock the sound down. But the company has to work closely with an acoustician to see what they have to do in that area to lower the noise. It's kind of after the fact.
So would they do something like they do on the highways, where they put up the barriers from like
Yes,
Interstate 35 that cuts
Yes.
the noise down?
yes.
What would that do to the?
Well, I don't know if
Better.
that's exactly what it is, but
They
that
have
does,
something-
that is what they do that at the highways up there for.
Either that or plant trees along there to change the noise.
I like that idea better. They could do something like that.
Right.
Be another way of doing it.
I did also read something that noise levels, if you've got cattle or wildlife next to this, it does disturb the cattle and the wildlife next to it
Well, that's what I
because
saw
of the noise levels.
in here, you're 100 feet or 300 feet. That's not real far from
No,
a facility, you know. If you had cows, you need to be set back farther than that.
right. I mean, if the cows won't go to it and you're losing 200 feet of grazeland because the cows are not grazing along there because of the noise, then that's another issue, so for a non-participant. So
So when you say 50 or below, 50 or where, I mean, how do you measure that? Where is that? Is it 50 or below at the property line? Is it 50 or below at the plant?
I think it would be at the property line.
So non.
So anything beyond the property line is going to get less.
Yeah. And then what about, study prior to that, as far as determining what the Without the plan.
I would say that that wouldn't be a bad thing to do, to have an acoustician do a prior assessment of what DBAs are there prior to the facility being there. I don't think that'd be a bad idea. It's just, that'd be kind of like the soil sample thing too. I don't know, what are your other guys' thoughts?
Have they had any idea of where they might put one, or is this just a preliminary trying to figure out?
Well,
if
we're
they
trying to
decide
get we're trying to get this done prior to anybody coming and saying, okay, we want to set up a best system and we've got no regulations in
Okay.
there for this. So that's
Okay.
the whole concept of making these regulations. So if somebody does come within the county and wants to set up a facility, then we have the regulations in the planning and zoning. And
I just wanted to make sure you didn't already
Right.
have somebody on the hook already. That's why I was asking that.
no,
Well, there are companies that have expressed interest.
Okay.
But I can't say that I know the location. And I think that's something we ought to talk about also. We've talked about zoning areas that we're gonna allow them in. One of the questions that I had as I was looking at this was, should the noise or setback regulations be different in an industrial area versus an agricultural area?
that's a very good point.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, you're already gonna have a lot of noise, or some noise
Yeah,
in
that's what I'm
industrial
saying.
areas.
right.
Yeah, like around a grain elevator, something like that, you got lots of noise. So if they're in a general area of that, I wouldn't think it would add much more noise.
Well, I
to
don't
it.
think you're going to have a residential neighborhood right next to the industrial park.
That's the idea. That's what. we're
Right.
saying, yeah.
And I wouldn't have troubles or problems with setting different DBAs for industrial site, commercial site. Then we go down to residential, and
So what
we
if,
have different DBAs for each
well,
scenario.
yeah, I don't know.
Well, you've got 4 different items listed there for your tiers anyhow. You got agriculture, industrial, heavy, or countryside, or commercial, so you could set it up,
Set a DBA for each one.
each one of them.
Shouldn't we have a study on distance? Farther the distance with the echoes, like you were saying earlier.
Right.
That DBA doesn't change much in distance when you've got an echo.
Right.
You know, between.
Right.
hills.
If you're at the base of a hill or something. You know,
And
I live up on top of a hill, but I got a hill on the other side, and I've got an echo. You know, if you say something or yell loud, you get that right back. So,
some distances will have, may or may not have an impact.
that's a possibility on location. Location would make a big difference in what you're.
Is there any of these plants within driving distance that you're aware of?
Yeah.
The closest,
Where?
Enid, Oklahoma is the closest utility.
I just came from there a month ago to a funeral.
And that's flat. There's nothing around there, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's barren. So, okay.
But
Is it out west of town, or do you know?
I don't know. I don't know. Owns it.
What is Enid? What is Enid? A 2-hour drive?
Oh, no, it's about 4 hours.
Is it
4.5 hours.
4 hours?
Yeah.
It's a hard 4-hour drive.
Yeah, you go down 35 and then go across into it. So it's a good hard 4.5 hours. And it's as flat as this table out there, so you don't have to worry about echoes.
Right.
Around here, there's a lot of hills compared to a lot of places. That's why I wonder if we could drive around and look and see if there's one around, but that doesn't even make sense down there because it's flat area, so it wouldn't even pertain to this area.
How many industrial zones are in a county? Do you know? I know we got one at Pleasanton,
They got one in Lake Scene.
one in Lacine, and then we got one at the Highway 7 intersection of, like you're going to Parker. I think that's considered industrial too.
Is it?
Over
Where
on
they
the,
set the
that
propane tank.
That's industrial?
on the southwest
Well,
corner.
I thought I seen that on the map, but
The only thing out there is on the southwest corner that I'm aware of.
well,
Take on the north side of the road.
Oh, that's right. I didn't think about that. You're right.
But
Caddy Corner, I think, is where the industrial is.
West Recycling, isn't that a industrial site over there?
I don't know
I
what
read
West
it.
is considered. If he's considered commercial or industrial.
Hmm.
I don't, that's good. That's a good question.
I bet he's commercial.
Thought when Peerless or whoever, who had that first, Tower Metals had.
Yes, Tower Metals had it.
I thought that was an industrial, but it might not.
I don't know. I don't know.
It's possible. Could have been. Huh. See, that's over close to the landfill.
Just trying to find a map.
And it's not even close to town there. Not really. I mean,
2 miles, yeah.
yeah, 2 miles. Find anything, Dave?
Yeah, I'm getting close.
Do you have any idea how big that plant is down there in size? Okay. I don't know, just a general. Okay. Have you seen any others? Can you give a general ballpark? Football field size, bigger, smaller?
I mean, it completely depends on megawatts and the
Okay.
technology being used.
Okay.
That's what? Is it red?
Yeah,
Industrial?
red's industrial.
Allen County was going to,
That's what I thought.
and then they backed out.
I think you're right.
So
There are
I
some.
thought I read that somewhere that they had one or were going to have one or something.
they're going to have one, then they backed out of it. So I don't know what the deal was there.
Okay.
Oh,
I knew I heard that somewhere.
so that's a power plant.
Well, I think it, to me, it makes sense to be a little more lenient in the industrial areas. Just agriculture. Both
Right.
on, both on setback and.
I think so too. And residential, countryside would kind of fall in the same.
Yeah, I think agricultural, countryside and commercial is the same.
The same
Yeah.
for them three.
We're not showing anything on here with residential, so do you even want to include that? Even
Oh, I'm
allowed to
sorry.
be in
I'm
residential?
sorry. Countryside, you're right, you're right.
I just want to make sure we don't
Right.
put residential
Yeah.
in there.
You're exactly
Well-
right, Steve.
Residential would depend on the acreage.
Well, that's true.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, we're 4.9 to 0 is residential, so
Yeah.
you could be out in the country and have less than 5 acres and still be considered residential,
Good point.
you know?
You can go to Linn County maps in these red areas. I think it's section 12. Yep, that's gonna be your heavy industrial. This will bring it on,
Right.
if that helps.
Now,
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
So I can't find Parker. You know, they seen.
Parker's up here.
Now, see, I thought we're 150. I thought that was industrial there, but it's not showing it as industrial.
Okay, that's something to consider. What about,
That is industrial, Steve. That is industrial.
what's
down
that?
there.
What's that?
At 400 road, 400 in, what's that, Vernon?
Yep.
Yep.
That is industrial down to Prescott.
course, you got the possibility of, if you make it different, and then they ask for a rezoning to industrial, then you could be changing the regulations. Just thinking out loud.
Would it or would it not have to be rezoned anyway? From agriculture to something?
Wouldn't have to be made commercial, wouldn't it?
I would say commercial, yes. That's a good question. I don't know.
So like when we did they did the quarry, was that rezoned to commercial?
Back.
Yeah, I'd have to go back and look too. Okay.
I think it'd have to be zoned commercial.
That's a question we had answered.
Yeah.
Setbacks are a little more detailed usually. Anybody have any thoughts on setbacks? Sorry.
That's all right.
The only problem with the setbacks, when you get into the industrial and commercial, that may be a problem if they're crammed in there.
Right.
Because you may not be able to get 100 feet back from inside the industrial commercial areas.
Right.
So if you want to put that restriction in, that may limit it quite a bit. I know some of these industrial areas, there's just not that much room. They're going to try and squeeze something in there. I don't know if you want to allow them to be able to get in something like that.
You think that's where they make the most sense? Industrial areas. I don't know if it makes sense logistically for them or not.
I don't either. I think want to be closer to a power plant.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, because they're gonna have to pull from the grid.
Yep.
Right, they're gonna have to be close to a major power line somewhere.
I would think so, yeah.
Yeah, to get both in and out.
Right,
Exactly.
exactly.
Yep,
And it's not like they're gonna do it for local.
that's true.
It's not gonna be for local use.
Was all that industrial,
There is a lot of industrial up to Lacine.
is all of it used?
Well, I see a lot of that on the lower end of the lake there. That was all industrial because that's all reclaimed mine land.
Mm-hmm.
That's where P&M they got the coal and reclaimed that land there. And that would be close to the grid.
That's down on the south side of
It's below the dam.
below the dam,
Well, some's below the dam, some's
north of it up in there on the other side of the plant.
east of the power plant.
Okay,
East and south of the power plant.
okay.
There's two major lines going into the power plant. There's one cuts Caddy Corner across the county.
I guess-
Wherever you see a major power line would be somewhere that would be acceptable to them, I think. I don't know.
Would it be Evergy buying that or Heartland, you think? I mean, that's the only two ones we have down here, isn't it?
Heartland buys from
Evergy.
their teaching. They buy.
Oh, that's true. But they're just co-op, so, okay. Makes sense. But my understanding, when I talk to the people out at the lake, they sell most of theirs to Texas. It all goes down that direction. I don't know if they still do that or not, but not much of it's sold around here.
Well, see, just like the
Southwest Power Grid.
Yeah,
Right.
it all goes.
Southwest
on the
Power
grid
Pool.
anymore. They don't know where it goes.
Southwest Power Pool, it
It
could go,
just goes that way.
It's just on a big board.
well, it's like Wolf Creek sending their power to Joplin. That's what they just done. They done eminent domain on that. You know, running across, carried across. That went from Burlington to Joplin.
Now, just because you live close to the power plant, don't mean you get it from there.
Yeah, when I went out there and I was fishing, I said, man, it's great having power out there. They said, we don't get any power from them. That goes to Texas.
What are the setbacks in here, Al? What are the setbacks in the draft?
24,302.
Page 5, 24,302. Got it right now drafted in at 100 feet from the property line of non-participating. 100 feet from any dwelling on non-participating. 75 feet for public road. 200 feet from active livestock. We've got 200 feet for active livestock and only 100 feet for people.
Exactly. I seen that too. Just remember now,
But you know what's more important around here?
just,
Them cattle got way bigger ears than people.
just remember, light auto traffic at 100 feet is 50 dBA. So if you're 100 feet away from light auto traffic, you're going to hear 50 dBA. So, but depending on, you know, I don't know if these things are running 70 to 95, you know, when they're charged up or when they're charging. So just figure when they're charging, you're gonna, I don't know how much you're gonna hear at 100 feet.
Well, that's also tier 2 that I read.
Right.
Is 75 feet far enough back from the right of way in case there need to be road work or anything?
Well, I'm taking that's from the right of way,
From the right of way?
from the road. So how much?
So back off of that right of way, 75 feet, okay.
Right.
Of a non-participant,
No, any public road.
any public
Number
road.
3 there.
This is just on the public, number 3 on the public road setback.
Oh,
I just hate to see them build something, have to go in there and do some road repair, and they're right in the way.
Sure. Yeah.
well, the right of way, depending on the right of way, could be 35 to 45 feet, depending on,
No, and that's from the center of the road.
that's from the center of the road. So you're 45 feet from the center of the road, and then you want 75 feet back from that. Right?
That should give them plenty of room then.
Right.
Yeah, that should be plenty of room.
Yeah.
So that's good. On the tier 2.
I'd like to see the dwelling setback number 2 there increased to 200 feet.
On a non-participant
A non-participant,
or a participant.
non-participant. Participants, that's their own doing.
So why would, so you're wanting to match the agriculture operation setback?
Yeah. Saying my grandkids are as
I would have
important as
to
my
agree with
kids.
it.
And then, yeah, so you've got 200 feet now for tier 3 already,
For tier 3?
right?
Yes.
The public road, I wouldn't think it would make any difference on the public road on the tier 3 from the public road setback. Why would it be a difference?
Why is it 200 feet versus 75?
I don't know. I think it should go back to 75. If we're gonna leave tier 2 at 75, then we should have the tier 3 at 75 too.
Quite a bit of difference. there.
Yeah,
That's a difference.
huge difference.
Maybe make them both 100.
Split the difference.
Yeah.
What do you think?
What are we doing?
Make 100.
Make
100 feet for
100
both
foot on both of them,
on public roads.
from the public road.
On both 2 and 3,
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea.
Okay. I'm just gonna put 100-foot question.
And then it's 300 feet for cattle on tier 3.
We remember tier 2 and tier 3 have different noise levels.
I know. So
Just so I understand, what do they mean by environmentally sensitive?
Wildlife area?
Okay. Something like that. Okay, that makes sense. I'm just trying to figure out what it actually means on this.
I would say that that's probably what they're,
Okay.
should we spell that out?
yeah, I think that the item 6, environmental sensitive areas, should include the
Good.
Maritime wildlife area.
Yeah, because you get some of these green freaks and that could mean a blade of grass.
Right.
So,
Yeah, and I think the 500 feet back.
How about saying 500 feet from designated Kansas or federal wildlife area?
Yeah,
I think that's a good idea. Sounds good.
yeah.
You taking notes, Jenny?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
So do you want to leave the tier 3 property line setback 100 feet the same on the tier 3 as we had tier 1?
100 feet. Where's the dwelling? Leave the dwelling out?
Well, the dwelling's 200 feet
200 feet for,
on a
oh,
non,
there it is, okay.
we got, and I think that's what we put 200 feet on the tier 2 also. I just don't know. If I was a non-participant, and my house was right on that property, or within so many feet of that property line, I just don't know if 200 feet's enough, Dave. I mean, that, I'm just throwing things out there. I don't know.
Well, I agree with you. And particularly, I don't think you keep it the same as the tier 2. I think you've got to step it up.
50%.
Yeah, at least.
I know you gave this to us before. What is tier 2 megawatts for tier 3?
Yeah, we define that somewhere.
We defined it, but I don't know if anybody wrote it down.
Here it is. It's in here.
I just read it. It's on page 2,
On page 2.
Tier
halfway
2,
in the middle, number 3 and
600
4.
kilowatts. Between
It's
81 and
600.
600 kilowatts. Tier 3,
81 to 600.
Greater than 600. Tier 3 is greater than 600.
That's a lot of difference. A lot of difference. We're talking kilowatts compared to megawatts.
Well, they're both being measured in kilowatts. Both being measured in kilowatts.
What page was it on?
Page 2,
Page 2.
paragraph C,
Down at
it's 3 and 4.
24 2A. It shows that 1 kilowatt is equal to a megawatt. So you're underneath a megawatt until you go into that tier 3.
Got it?
Well, it's greater. 1,000 kilowatts is a megawatt. So anything greater than 600
Mhm.
kilowatt,
It's tier 3.
okay, is tier 3. There's no happy medium between there. I did read that some of these facilities are as much as 300 megawatt.
How much? 300?
Megawatt.
Are you kidding? That's huge.
So that would be 3,000 kilowatts?
Huh?
It'd be 3,000 kilowatts? 300
Well, a
megawatts?
thousand
Yeah.
kilowatts is equal.
No, it's going to be
megawatt.
30,000. 30,000 kilowatts. Yeah. A lot of power.
300,000.
300,000.
Yep.
300,000.
Oh, no,
Kilowatt.
you're right. 300. You'd add another zero on there.
But like I said,
I mean, you go to the back.
that's a big facility. I don't know what we got like down in Enid, Oklahoma. I don't know what that one is. I mean, that takes more research into looking to see.
I can find out. I've got family down there. I can find out.
To
Let
see.
you know. Just see what size it is, get a little information, if you don't mind.
Okay. So I think what you're pointing out, it's could be quite a large facility.
Yes. Would it be? I don't know.
Well, it could be 600 too, 601. So how about if we bump the dwelling to 300? Same as the livestock. 500 feet. Okay. So here's what I've got for tier 3. Property line setback, 100 feet, is that what you're grinding on? You don't think 100's enough?
I think 100 on the road right.
Participating property line. I think if you're increasing them for every other,
I had 500 feet on the agriculture setback and 500 feet. I mean, that's what I initially had.
That one down in Oklahoma's 252 megawatts.
Yeah, see, almost
Yeah, that-
300.
Yep. Did it show a picture of it? No,
No,
not really good.
Randy. But it's also combined a solar farm.
There's no trees down there, so it makes sense.
It's a lot of red dirt, right?
Lots of wind and no trees.
So you
On a tier 3, I think 500 foot
It covers
setback.
2,000 acres.
500 feet to non-participating property line?
That's gotta be a
It's a big difference.
Woodward area.
Southeast.
Southeast.
You got 100 feet on tier
Or
2.
down toward Salt Lake, or
Let's
Salt
see.
Lake, that area. There is trees down there.
From a dwelling.
Wow. I would never
Well-
guess that. I'd guess
Well-
west or northwest.
500 feet from an existing dwelling
I lost that bet.
on a non-participant.
Okay.
Good thing I don't gamble.
What about
That
the
makes
property
sense.
line?
Huh?
What about property line?
Well, I guess if there's no,
I think you gotta make it more.
3, what?
I think you gotta make it more than tier 2, even if it's 150, just to be consistent.
I may be wrong. They gotta be a charter.
Well,
You know, they gotta have some kind of generator. charter.
I had 500 feet,
They may have solar, but
let's see, C5. Let's see. Did we take, we took tier 1 out. So C would be B.
that looks like. Pretty sad, huh?
Well, this is from.
200 feet from,
They have a drone fly over probably.
Fears of massive battery.
I guess if there's
or
not,
local
200 feet
opposed.
on the property line setback for the tier 3. Does that make sense?
That's on the property line.
Mhm.
That's 200
Non-participating.
from a non-participant. Okay, it could be closer than that to a participating. You know, if, say you got this 80 here and this guy, this 80, this guy's leased, and this 80, this guy's leased, they wouldn't have that,
Same color shape as out.
they wouldn't have that setback in there.
Section.
Does that make sense?
So how much are you taking away? What was the acreage we were talking about? These are gonna be.
Steve,
What's
did
the
that give you an
average-
idea
what's
what
the
the
average
acreage is on the
acreage
300
tier
megawatt?
3?
It was,
Probably 15 to 20 acres.
15 to 20 acres.
That ain't very big.
Well, you said this
So
one's
an
2,000.
80-acre facility,
but this had a solar farm, but
Oh, that's with the solar.
yeah,
Okay.
that's what they're.
an 80-acre facility, and you take 20 out of the middle of that 80, I don't know how many feet you would have on all sides of it.
That's what we need to do the math on.
I think so too. So an 80, depending on if it's a quarter by half, you know, or a half by a quarter, or whatever it may be. It's 5,280 feet in a mile. Divided by 4 beats that,
1250,
1,250 feet.
give or take.
So I don't know how wide 20 acres would be, a 20 by,
So it's quarter miles, 1,320 feet. So half mile would be 2,640. So that's a 80 acres.
Right.
So you're gonna, if you go to if you say 100-foot property line setback, could be taken 200 feet out of that. Not too restricted, I wouldn't think.
so a quarter of a mile is 1,250?
1320. 1,320 feet.
So you take 200 off of that,
It's 11.
Every direction.
Yeah.
every direction.
Yeah.
But an 80, you don't find many square 80s around here. You're going to find them a half by a quarter or vice versa. Now, if you 160, it'd be totally different.
Right.
So you're taking off 200.
Well, it depends on what our setbacks are. Get 75-foot setback from the road, or 100-foot setback from the road.
Do these require cooling? Like water cooling, something like that?
It's
Okay.
It's kind of like antifreeze, only different.
Okay.
From what I understand.
I didn't know if they had to be around a water supply or if they got their own self-contained water system or cooling system. Okay.
So I guess for what I'm envisioning here, maybe I go back and do the math, I'll change my mind, is property line setback of 200 feet on an 80 acre field is not going to hurt you that
No,
No,
no.
So, anybody opposed to making it 200 then? 200
On
on
2 or 3,
Yep,
I thought we thought 500 feet on a dwelling setback.
500 feet on a dwelling, 200 feet on property line.
Yep.
100 feet from,
From
public
agriculture,
yeah,
200 feet or 300 feet,
yeah. and then-
environmentals, and you're gonna leave that there?
Yep. And then, the only thing I was looking at was the maximum height.
So let's stop on the agriculture
Okay.
operation setback of 300 feet.
Okay,
Active livestock facilities. Now, are we considering pasture or livestock facility?
Or is it just gonna be like a feedlot?
Yeah.
sure it is.
Right. Does that needs to be worded a little different?
No,
I read it as being like a feedlot.
That's
Instead of-
that's what that's
I mean,
that's
I
kind of
could-
what my
I could twist it
interpretation
around.
was
Yeah.
of it.
so why don't we put in there,
So a good attorney could twist that around.
Livestock pastures or feedlots.
Something like that, so it's.
how about livestock facilities including pastures?
There you go.
There you go, that sounds better.
Yeah.
That covers everybody that way, I think.
Yeah.
shouldn't be much confusion that way.
Exactly.
Right. So the public roads continues, the dwelling setback 500 feet of a non-participant.
Right?
Okay. And property line setback 100 feet from any property line of a non-participant property, and we want to go to 200 feet, correct? That'd be B, tier 3, line item 1.
Yes,
Yes,
200.
Yes?
yes. Because based on what he just found down in Oklahoma, things monstrous down there as far as the different stuff. So you start getting those large megawatts, I don't know how noisy it's gonna be.
Well,
I
that's a
don't
different,
know either.
that's a different
That-
subject. I mean, that's why we've got to set the noise
So-
at the property line.
So there again, we come to this. We come to the acoustics. The how do we put that in there? The acoustician, the company must work with an acoustician to limit the noise as much as possible.
That's pretty
No,
subjective.
that's pretty low.
Yeah.
No, you've got to set it at a decibel. Decibel at the property line, decibel at non-participating dwelling.
Okay.
And it has to be,
Okay.
it has to
I
be,
got away from the feet.
it has to be
Back
expressed,
to the noise.
it's got to be expressed in decibels per, average per 24 hours.
I would agree.
There's a way of expressing that.
Yeah.
I like the way you broke that out earlier, different comparisons, like vacuum cleaner and cars, things like that, so that way we have a general idea anyway.
Okay, so we're about ready to get through this. Let's go back to tier 3 setbacks.
Tier 3 setbacks.
Bottom of page 5. Property line setback 200 feet from any non-participating property. Dwelling setback of 500 feet,
Yeah. So we're scratching 200, put 500.
500,
What, line item 1 is 200 feet?
yes. And then 500 feet for line item 2.
Huh?
And then public,
100 feet,
right,
I think we had,
line item 3?
number
Yep.
3, we had 100.
yep. On the height, didn't we last time determine that 15 was plenty? No? You're not buying that, huh? Fill us in on heights again. Refresh our memory.
So, the storage containers are gonna be at least 15. It might be 15 to 20 feet.
Okay,
And then if you have additional structures like power poles, because you'll have to get from the facility to the project substation, then to the interconnection
Right.
facility. Those are gonna be closer to 50 feet,
Right.
so.
I can see that.
so, but we're okay with 15 feet on tier 2? Because we've got 15 feet in there, you don't think so?
The 20 feet on the storage container? I
Is it
think,
20, is it 20 feet on a storage container?
yeah. You said 20 or 25 feet on the storage container.
So maybe we need to
But I think,
reword that also.
uh,
Maybe we need to reword that.
I don't work with tier 2 facility.
Yeah.
So that's how.
we're talking tier 3. Yeah.
So, okay, here we are, 20 feet maximum on battery storage container, 30 feet max on, so 35 feet on other structures is okay. Or livable.
Well, I think it'll still be tough, really tough, actually.
And,
on our structure.
I think
okay,
we
so,
need to go
and
back. and
what
look.
what are the structures you're talking about? Can you,
Power poles.
to the power poles?
Well, that wouldn't be, I don't think we would,
Project substation.
I don't think we would consider the power poles as a structure.
No, I don't either.
Structure, we would be talking about, say an administration office or a building, another building, plus you got your sea containers. I think we're talking about another structure there for some reason. I don't think we would be talking power poles at that. I mean,
No.
we got power poles going everywhere up and down the road, so we know that they're taller than 35 feet, you know, so that wouldn't be part of what this, because that would be a structure, additional structures on site. I don't know if you got office buildings or something else or anything there for,
Too noisy.
Maintenance or- okay,
There may be a storage facilities.
and you don't anticipate it being over 35 feet tall? Okay, okay.
So we need to
So-
be specific in there about structures,
Right.
not 35 feet maximum for additional structures, not including poles.
Yeah. Not including power poles. And
Sounds good.
because I think somewhere else in our regulations, there's something where I remember 35 feet. And I don't remember what that 35 feet was about, but I do remember reading something about 35 feet. Of
But
course, I know we've got legs with grain elevators and everything else that are higher than 35 feet.
to degress here a little and go back to tier 2, if a shipping container's 20 feet tall, 15 feet's not going to work on tier 2. Don't they use shipping containers on tier 2? You don't know? Yeah. We may want
Well,
to,
just put the height limitation of 20 feet on it too,
yeah, I think so too. Okay,
on tier 2.
yeah, okay, so back to tier 3. Paragraph 4. We're going to say 20-foot max on the storage container, 35 feet max on any additional structures, not including power poles. Maybe a better way of wording that, Jenny. And then agricultural setback 300 feet,
Substation.
including pastures.
Hang on a minute.
Okay,
Maybe we ought to include substation there too. Power poles and substation.
okay.
Yeah, there's gonna have to be a substation.
Right.
There's gonna have to be a transformer station.
Okay. So agricultural operation setback 300 feet from active livestock facilities, including pastures. And then environmental sensitive areas, 500 feet from designated Kansas or federal wildlife area.
Right. So we're gonna leave the agriculture at 300 feet on that one, or we're gonna
Mhm.
change it to 500 feet like the dwelling setback?
What do you think?
I don't know, what do you think?
I think it might get challenging.
I think 300 feet's plenty.
Yeah, and I think when you get into pastures, it could get
I think
challenging.
it's
Yeah.
gonna be plenty.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay, so everybody good with that?
Yep.
You know, this is, again, we're not voting on this.
right.
This is the draft, which we'll come back later and vote on. So if you have any heartburn over any of that stuff, it's not written in stone. We can, when we vote on it, we can redo it.
With the wildlife,
Yeah.
does Kansas, the state of Kansas, have stipulations with, boundaries and footage away from wildlife?
Okay.
Because I know a couple of years ago, they recommended even, solar was 3 miles.
That's a long way.
It is.
I do remember something about that.
Well, the state's that way, the federal guys.
Well, it was, I think on the solar, it had something to do with the eagles.
With the migration of birds.
Right. And it was a migration sensitive because the solar panels were reflective and the geese and everything else. So I think that was the deal for that.
Are you aware of any Kansas or federal wildlife regulations?
Specific to that. My degree's in biology, so that's why.
Yeah, okay. Okay. You know, it wouldn't hurt to add there, comply with Kansas and federal wildlife regulations.
I think that might be a good idea
Yeah.
Okay.
in case we're
Well,
short and it's
there is something in there.
stronger at the state or federal level.
Personally, I think if they're gonna claim them, they need to take care of it.
Well, that ain't going.
What was that? Environmental assessment from a qualified third party that addresses the project impact, if any, on wildlife habitat, bird mitigation, officially listed flora and fauna and flood zones. That is part of the conditions required for the approval.
So you think,
Okay.
you don't think we need to add that?
That's page 6, line item 24.4B.
How about this now? We add item 7 there.
Mhm.
We simply say must comply with Kansas and federal wildlife setbacks.
Yeah.
I mean, that way we're covered.
Don't hurt to
covered
have it, yeah.
twice.
Good with it. You guys good with it?
Sounds good. That way, if it changes, it's already documented.
I think it's way overkill myself.
Sure we're on. Making sure we're on.
Are we on?
Yep.
Okay. So we're back to noise.
Okay, so now we're back to noise.
Page is that?
10.
Where at?
10. No.
Yeah, 10, 24-509.
What we had?
That was good.
24.509. Yeah. Yeah.
Starts with an N.
How come that wasn't in blue?
Well, the old one was. This is a new one.
I don't think we've ever been here before.
Oh, yeah?
We don't think we ever got to the. No, we
No, we didn't get to it. Remember, we put it off. This was last week's, or the last time.
Wait.
So we talk about baseline noise levels, which is good, although I think we may want to expand on that a little.
That, I kind of like the way that's wrote. Height of facility operation.
The only problem I see on that, if you look on B, it says range from 60 to 80, and then it comes down and says at the height, it can be no more than 60.
It
So,
says it can range between 68 to 80.
but it cannot be no more than 60 when you read the last line.
Right.
So it can't be both, between 60 and 80, but it can't go over 60.
Well, yeah, it can, because it may, the higher it gets, it may change.
It said the neighboring's property line
Okay,
of
let
60.
me try to restate this.
Okay,
It says it can go from 60 to 80 depending on the
Right.
amount being used.
that's the noise that it's making.
Okay, but it cannot go past 60, that last sentence.
Well, it says to neighbor.
I'm sorry, I
Neighbor's
missed
property shall
neighbor.
experience no
You're right,
more
I
than
missed that.
60 dBA.
Okay, I missed that. You're right.
So I meant the facility, say this is a facility, we're going from 60 to 80 dBA, but
Over there,
we're over 200 feet on the property line now, and it can't exceed 60 dBA at that point.
I missed the neighboring.
Does
You're
that
right.
make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. Perfect. Yep.
That makes sense, Dave? Makes sense? I think we need to add to that, cannot be more than, I'm saying 50 dBA at a dwelling on a non-participating.
And then how are we gonna measure that? Aren't there different ways of measuring?
There is different ways, and a lot of it is difference in hertzes too. I mean, that would be somebody that comes in here and says, hey, you know, I can't sleep at night because this thing is so noisy. You know, then they'd have to go over to that person's, run a test to see if, what kind of noise they's putting out. But this is not like it's a constant thing.
Yeah.
So how often do they pull from the grid and put on the grid?
One
Yeah,
one is, if it's already fully charged, they're not gonna buy them for, right? And then demand, if they bought power at a price where they can't sell it and make money, then they're not gonna discharge.
if you were just guessing, does this come on once every month, once every 2 months,
It'll be,
once every week,
several times a day.
several times a day? Could be. Every day?
Not necessarily.
So there could be 3 or 4 days that they wouldn't be, nothing.
Say from 50% charge to full charge. How many hours will it take to reach that span?
That I don't know. I mean, I know that facilities that I worked on generally have 4-hour discharge window. I don't know how long it takes to actually charge to get charged.
So what I'm understanding from what you just said, it would take, if they turned it completely on, it would be a 4-hour window till it would be, its cycle would be over. It would be depleted. So it's probably gonna take at least twice that long to charge it back up.
Again, that
And do you see noise limitations? Are they generally averages? Are they peak?
I've seen
Yeah. Are you thinking an average, our average, or? It seems to me like peaks makes more sense to me. It's never going to reach over a certain decibel.
Say that again.
So, some of the stuff I've read, some of the regulations state 50 decibels at a dwelling, the average of an hour. Or 50 decibels max, period, whether it's an hour or 5 minutes or.
Well,
I think you put the max.
let's go back and see.
If you got 60 to 80, then 80 would be your max, but how long can that max go?
Well, then max
hour,
would be
12
3
hours?
days, 3, 4 days if they need to charge their system completely back up if they deplete it
So
completely.
you don't want to have
What do
a
you think?
limit? I mean, I don't know
I
anything
don't know
about
how
it.
long it takes to charge one.
It's gonna deplete in, she said, in maybe 4 hours.
Well, even this one,
And then it might be charging right back up.
see, that plant down in Eden, Oklahoma's a 4-hour discharge, so that must be kind of the average to it.
Did it say about how long to,
Don't say how long it takes to charge.
Says it's a 4-hour battery energy storage system.
There's probably some information out there that tells us.
But the only time you use it, they're going to
So the 50
discharge
dB,
it is at a peak demand.
so your 50 dBA would be the equivalent of light auto traffic at 100 feet.
it would be a steady hum?
Somebody going down your road 100 feet away. You know, my house is further than 100 feet from the road,
Mine is too, so.
but
Mine says,
I won't hear it anyway.
chart I looked up said 50 decibels is, the sound of a
But is
refrigerator.
that problem caused?
sound.
There you go. Oh.
So what's something, what, get, it's 60.
60s, conversation in a restaurant or office, so like right here.
For me, none of that noise sounds like it's that bad. That's just my opinion, though. I mean, I've heard louder noises from people driving down the road with their four-wheelers, so.
Well, if this was a constant thing, that it was continuous, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week,
That'd be different.
that
Yeah.
would be a whole different scenario.
That's
And
true.
you're gonna have a farmer farming the field right next to right next to your dwelling or something, and he's gonna be running a combine in there, and he's gonna be in there for a day or something, or two, or whatever, working ground, and he's gonna make more noise than that.
Yep,
But he's
but he's gonna be in and out.
But he'll be in and out.
Yep.
I mean, it's something that you can bear with for a short time period. Now, I don't, I can bear with him.
Could, but would.
Yeah, I will.
Okay, we got the spot picked.
There we go. We're gonna put it down next door.
I mean, I'm going with the acoustics or what it looks like.
To me, it would depend on what it paid.
It depends on what it pays. I know this don't have anything to do with regulations, but I'm on the understanding that any kind of BEST program is under the pilot.
Oh, there's no, property taxes?
I think that depends on the price.
Okay.
We
How about
we
Kansas?
got into two different parts of Kansas. and
In
they-
Kansas, really?
They said,
Both of them say different. One says it is, and one says it's not.
What?
That's about right.
Why would you expect anything less?
It was my understanding of what I read, that it was under the pilot program.
So no
But
property.
that's got nothing to do with,
It doesn't. It shouldn't.
Nope, it doesn't have anything.
it shouldn't have any effect on,
So why'd you bring it up?
well,
Because I pointed out his
because I
house.
just couldn't control myself.
Okay, let's get back
Okay,
decibels at a dwelling.
I-
I say we make it maximum decibel at the dwelling. What's the number?
I'm for 50 at a non-participating dwelling.
Okay. Anybody else
That's mine.
have that?
So we don't go over 60.
Huh?
I say we don't go over 60, so anything up to that I'm okay with.
How many decibels was that ring?
I don't know.
About 120.
It was pretty loud, wasn't it?
Okay, 50 decibels at non-participating dwelling.
The rest of it, I think.
Got that?
I already read it.
All right, you're faster than I am. That's why you're taking them and I'm not.
I think
Okay.
the rest of it reads okay.
Yeah, okay.
I do too.
I'd like to expand on A a little, and I don't have a firm grasp of how. So I'd like to readdress that.
What's that?
On A, on the noise monitoring tests, I think it needs to be a little more detailed. But at this point, I can't articulate it.
Well,
Well, they usually
that's
submit
I
for
think
voltage
that's
test.
the construction noise when they're building the plant.
So we've done some models before.
Okay.
And just give them manufacturing information and they model, they give us a model.
So do they do acoustics test after the plant is done and in operation?
I mean, they can do whatever they want.
In other words, they have a plant they built somewhere, and here's what we had at that plant. And then when they get done building, you'd ask for one after they get through to see if it matches or is similar. Is that what they've done?
Oh,
So
I know.
we've done it a couple of different ways. One is that we do a model based on what the plan is to build.
Okay.
And they'll put,
that's
you know,
to
they'll say
establish
background, ambient,
baseline
noise
noise
management,
level.
all that kind of stuff to build that into the model. And then provide us with the output expected, sound levels would be at different within a certain area. And then they can come
Well-
back and check.
I think it ought to be put in there once they do that, then they come back after it's built and make sure it meets those specs or better.
yes.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
got
I
to
totally
be
agree.
some type of monitoring.
And I don't know, maybe there needs to be a line item C
Monitoring.
that
Because they can
What's
give
the
you any
deal?
kind of model they want.
wants
It'd be
to,
great, but when they get done, it may not match that either.
right.
Well, if it doesn't match this, then I mean, I wouldn't think they,
How are we gonna know it though if they don't come back and check it for us?
well, because it ain't
From an
gonna work.
acoustician. Or somebody has
It's not
to
gonna be
test it.
within our regulations, so they can't use it.
I guess they submit what it's supposed to be. But if they don't come back after it's all built and give us the regulations, what it's doing now after it's built, we don't know if it matches or not. So if we don't put that in there, they don't have to come back and give us a test result after
Right.
it's built.
I agree. I think
Right.
needs to be some type of monitoring requirement, whether it's
Like there's-
right after they build it or every year or what'd you say?
Well, 6 months after construction.
Yeah.
And then maybe yearly.
Something like that, so at least they stay within their limits, whatever we set those limits at.
I think the initial test needs to be when the facility first comes into operation.
I agree.
Would be within the first week of the operation that there should be a noise study done, the first week of the operation. And then determine, 3 months for the next one, 6 months for the next one, and a year, as long as they're in compliance, and then have it yearly.
We don't want to make it too restrictive. I mean,
Well, I mean,
No,
a lot of things go wrong when you first build a facility
Oh, yeah.
or something, and you're gonna have ups and downs or whatever until you get everything
But
tuned up.
I just think that they can give us any model they want.
right.
And if they don't build it to that model, I mean, it could be like a dragster going out there when they get all done. And we haven't said that it's okay. And then once they give that test, whenever you want to decide, 30 days, 60 days, whatever, after they got it built, come back in and do the test. If it matches within the standard, they're good for 6 months or a year, whatever you want to make it.
Right. We went through the CUP when they've got to come back, didn't we?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
So, noise. Hey, Jacqueline. Noise test results. One implementation,
Just,
or how do you say that, opening?
just a time frame after it's implemented and operational.
So,
So a week, 30 days, 60 days, whatever you think's fair for them.
I was just thinking if you went at least 6 months, that'd give them the time to work out the kinks, and you could say within from the end of the construction, they need to have it test done in 6 months, last day of construction, something like
Yeah.
that, so that.
That would work.
That sounds fair enough.
That sounds fair. Yeah.
And then maybe yearly or every
Two,
2
could go back to your road deal too, you know. It's top down.
Yeah,
Just 'cause
don't go there. You're gonna get me all upset again.
What's that?
Yeah. The Verizon tower, they're still working on that Verizon tower. They never have fixed my road. That
Oh.
was in my contract, but that's another story.
Yeah.
so 30 days after, what'd you say?
6 months.
Within
Give them 6 months.
of the last day of construction, if you set a 6-month time limit, that way they have time to come back and this didn't go right or whatever,
Okay.
they can work that out.
Okay.
6 months should give them plenty of time.
I
And
think-
then,
And then how often after that?
I'd say
Yeah.
Or after any change to the facility.
Right. Upgrades.
that's a good idea. Just in case they.
Well,
Okay.
I think, and I don't know, I haven't looked back through this. I don't know if it required them to bring the construction drawings and submit them to the, planning and zoning director
if there's any kind of modification, then they have to.
from the original drawings.
Right.
But you got to see the original drawings and then.
You gotta have the original drawings on file, they would be able to determine if.
Right. Right. And then if there's any changes to that, then they have to reapply for the CUP?
Correct. No,
No.
no, not the CUP, but they would have to get another building permit. So it would have to go through that chief.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm,
I think
Yeah.
we're there on noise and setbacks, right?
Yeah.
So we need to go through these and redline them, and send them back out.
And since this is all new stuff, I don't know how good the technology is, how good they are at their, doing their work. I mean, I don't know anything about any more than anybody else does, because there's none around here to speak of, so.
and I don't know how long it takes from to build a facility like this. I don't know,
Do you have any idea how long it takes to build a facility? Just a month, 6 months, a year?
say a 250 megawatt facility.
Heavy construction would be about 4 months. And then after that, it's just finishing work, they build vents and testing.
We did not have a DPA in here for construction noise. We didn't have anything in there for construction.
Need it?
Uh,
Do we need it? You're suggesting we need,
Well, I mean, you want to limit that to something, I think.
Would-
I don't foresee anything about. I remember seeing anything about construction.
I don't either.
There, I know there is in this. Something in here.
What do you got, A, under 24,509?
What's that?
Under 25-5, or 24-5. A,
Application submit noise monitoring testing
oh,
results,
before the first week of construction.
construction. Right. That's prior to tell you, okay, well,
Right.
we're just out here in the middle of the field, we got 40 dBA or whatever. That gives you the baseline to say, okay, well, you've increased the noise level by 10 or 20 or whatever.
So you're looking at, during the construction, they can only have.
Right, and I seen something in this paperwork you gave me. It was
Should
specifically
we-
about that.
Should we add that under noise, or should we add that under? I probably should have.
Project construction noise levels by a phase.
Do we have that in our regulations now for industrial construction?
Probably not. Probably not.
We need to add it somewhere?
Maybe we should limit the time frame of the construction, like from 6 a.m. to something. I mean, that's during the day. I mean, you don't want them, I know they're gonna get above the DBA of what that is, but it'd be a 3 or 4 months project or whatever. What do you say, 3 or 4 months? I know it's gonna be a hardship on the people that live next to a construction project.
But not your standards. Or you wanna-
I don't know. They're talking about, a road grader, 175 horse road grader at 100 feet, it's 82 dBA. I mean, limit a time frame on regular working hours.
Yeah. I get you. I'm just, do we do that now? I mean, if we're building a road out there, limit them now. It's a short, the way I see it, it's a
Short-term projects.
short-term pay.
Yes, labor
And we
alone.
don't want to be too restrictive.
What do you guys think?
I don't think most of these crews are gonna work that hard.
What's that?
They're not gonna come in and work 24 hours a day, so it's gonna be short term. They're gonna come in 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, they're gonna go home 6, 7 o'clock in the evening. They'll be done for the day. So I don't think we need it, but that's just my opinion.
Okay. I'm good. I'm good then.
Okay. So environmentalists, okay, so we don't, I just want to review a couple little things that have come up. We've gotten through the noise and the setbacks. One of them is page 6, 24-4. And that's the environmental assessment.
Six 24-4 conditions required for approval.
Do we have anything in there on, okay, impact on water quality and soil erosion? One of the things I read um, was concerning erosion. That you're building non-permeable pads that aren't absorbing the water like a pasture would or any other ground. So you've got a lot more runoff.
Yeah.
So that's something we may want to consider accounting for or having them account for. The other thing is with fires, when they come in and try to put these fires out, there's a lot of runoff.
Yeah.
We want
A
to,
lot of them,
that we want to consider. So I don't know if that's in,
a lot of contamination.
yeah,
Do you think we'll make them put up a contamination barrier around it?
That's not a bad idea, just in
Talked
case.
about it, we talked about a berm
Yeah,
all the way around the facility.
'cause I know they do that in the oil field, just in case they have a spill,
sure.
so why not? I mean, that would protect the landowners around.
Well, then,
I mean, a lot of the facilities of what I've heard that it's caught on fire, they literally, and I think you printed that out, they literally don't, they can't put them out. If they're lithium, they just let them burn.
Okay, so where do we stick that? It's really not under conditions. Well, impact on water quality and soil erosion.
Well, one question that I had was on the environmental assessment from a qualified third party. That doesn't require anything to do with the water other than flood zone. So did the assessment from a qualified third party, were you expecting that to address this issue that you're talking about with water contamination or the effect on the water? Because right now it says water, wildlife habitat, bird migration, officially listed flora and fauna flood zones. It doesn't say that the assessment from a qualified third party has to assess the impact that it would have on the water.
Yep, I agree. I think you add that.
The impact on water quality.
Yeah, but it doesn't say anything
Oh, in
about, what she's
24.4B.
pointing out is it doesn't say anything about the assessment. It's, the impact on water quality right now is only saying we need to consider that when we review the application. But to Jacqueline's point, I think that needs to be in the assessment.
Because that addresses what you guys were saying about whether you needed some type of contamination barrier, what kind of barrier did you all need, et cetera. We're relying on a third party, a qualified third party to address those concerns about the environmental impact on the water and what mitigation efforts should be taken, to prevent such a potential impact.
well, the EPA surely has a hand in this somewhere.
They have in everything else.
So,
I'm sure they got regulations they have to comply with.
so if we just added number 7 into B, would that take care of that? You think?
Yeah, I mean, if you say something about the water, the mitigation efforts required, to mitigate the, project's impact on the water, that might be beneficial.
I'm not sure I'm following you, Jacqueline. So you want to, where do you want to put that again?
24.4B,
24.4B?
Right.
Okay,
Right.
Because it says, an environmental assessment from a qualified
Third
third party
party.
that addresses the project's impact, if any. And I would add, on surrounding water and necessary mitigation tactics or necessary mitigation procedures or
got it,
barriers or something.
got it.
And that's something they're really not gonna know what's gonna be because they haven't decided what batteries they're gonna put in it.
Right.
but you said if they catch on fire, they just burn.
That's on the lithium, on the lithium battery.
It is.
Right.
So
We don't know if,
we really can't set a regulation
No.
for that other than
No.
just leaving it open-ended.
right.
Till they decide what kind they're gonna
Until
put
they
in.
decide what they're gonna use.
Okay. Anything else that we missed or need to go over again?
I mean, I'm sorry for this part of the meeting, but another question that I had regarding the water, did you all address any items about water usage, volume of water usage, or effect on contamination of water?
Said they don't use water.
I asked her about that. She said they used a contained water source or cooling source.
Okay, and so the effect that contained water,
That would go into this other if it got away, I would think. If they have
But that,
100-gallon storage and it leaks out, then we gotta have 150-gallon area to contain it or more.
I think the whole facility needs to have a berm.
I don't,
I mean, it's nothing to, have a berm of no more than 10%, but you have to come into the facility and go over the berm and go back down in it. I mean, you still would have drainage tubes or something in it, but at least it could be contained in case of a fire to prevent the contaminants from going anywhere else.
Get them lithium batteries on fire. That water's not gonna be your friend.
No,
No.
it's gonna be it'd have to be a foam or something. I mean, there's special things to fight lithium with, and it's not water.
is that emergency response training for our fire or ability to provide that, is that specified in these regulations?
Yes.
Okay.
Somewhere, we went through that, didn't we?
Yep.
We went through that as far as they would have to train the firefighters in the community how to fight.
Well, is that C then? Is that enough? So that's just fence hazard, Gordon.
I'm not understanding what fence hazard is. Train them on fence hazards.
Yeah, where'd that come from?
I mean, that sounds like they get away from electric fence. I mean, you know better than that. I don't know what that's supposed to be.
Didn't we have something else in there somewhere about dealing with fire training?
Yeah,
Maybe that's what was supposed to be there. I don't know.
I
just don't
know we
understand that.
did. I know we talked about
I know we
that,
talked about it too, huh?
but I don't remember where
Maybe,
it was
maybe
at.
just got taken down wrong.
It sounds like emergency services training for dealing with all fire hazards, maybe instead of fence training.
Well, it would be in red, I would think.
Should have been fine.
It's what it looks like, but I don't know.
Fence hazard.
Or wasn't it?
I think you're right.
It just makes more sense to
I
have
remember
fire
talking about
hazard
it,
training
but I
than it
don't-
does fence training.
If it got
We all
written
know
down.
you'll get around electric fences.
Yeah,
I don't
I
know.
think it's
You could
fire
have
instead of
those or not,
fence.
but, you know. Because if you guys discussed this before, it looks like it should have been right in that area.
Yep,
The fire
it was.
Did you guys talk about any special gear that they need,
Any what?
special gear?
Clothing, anything like that, or,
No, that's the firefighters, you mean?
yeah.
When we talked about that, they would have to, I thought we did anyway, that they would have to furnish any special equipment or anything to fight the fire.
I just didn't see anything about that.
Have you heard of any fires anywhere at any of these plants today that you're aware of?
Oh,
And
Do they?
do they just burn them out? Do they try to go in and fight them? What do they do with
They
them?
don't- it's like, so there's different fires, so most of the fires we've heard about have been, facilities that are in buildings,
Okay,
which obviously anything here would not be, that's just not the technology anymore.
Okay.
And so if one of those containers catches on fire, generally what we ask of the fire department is to keep it from spreading.
And
So
just let it burn
they'll-
itself
they'll
out.
monitor it and just let it burn itself out and try to keep the heat down on other containers.
Okay.
They'll just monitor it with a
Okay,
sensor, and it's the
page 16,
they pull it out, and there's no-
line item R.
16?
Okay.
Line item R, page 16.
16? Okay.
An emergency response plan specific to the BEST project, the ERP will detail how the applicant will make BEST training available to local first responders. ERP shall cover possible incidents at the site and include emergency procedures involving in case of a thermal event, medical emergency, and other potential situation. The ERP
Okay.
completed in collaboration with the planning and zoning director and public works
I would
and
think
fire
so.
marshal.
Of some sort.
It's burning now.
Yep.
It's burning everything. So whether the liabilities for these chemicals being toxic to
Surrounding area.
See, that goes back to the soil
Yeah.
sampling we talked about too. Prior soil sample and then soil sample after the fact. Now, maybe we needed to state something in case of a fire that needs to be a soil sampling taken
After the fire's
after,
extinguished.
within 1 week of any damage to the facility. Somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, that's probably in the, I don't know where the soil deal was, but
It was up in the front part there somewhere.
Here's some more mentions of soil. On Q, right above your emergency response.
site-specific stormwater management plan that details mitigation efforts for soil erosion and sediment control.
What if you add there for soil erosion, sediment control, and environmental contamination?
There you go.
I like it.
That ought to work.
Okay. Anything else?
I have just one question. I don't know if this is the right place to ask it or not, but is there any return on the investment for the county to let them build these here?
We can't consider that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're not supposed to consider it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Then
You'd hope so.
I won't ask it then.
So, and correct me if I'm wrong, either you two. So the way this process, as I understand it, works, we come up with, we get this done, we go through it again, we agree on it, we vote on it. Then we have a public hearing on it. We take responses from the public hearing into consideration of any changes we might want to make. And then we send it to the commissioners for approval.
Okay.
All right?
I think so. The one question mark that I'm having is in regard to when you're voting on it, you're voting for this to be the final version that's presented to the public for the hearing,
Right?
as opposed to, because the final has to happen after.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah, so the vote on it is what we're going to present to the public.
Exactly.
And then we
Right.
take their
Yeah.
input into
Then we-
consideration.
Then we
and
gotta
change
go
it.
back if we gotta make changes.
Then we vote on it again. Then
And
we
then we
start,
send it to
then
the
we,
commissioners, right?
okay, so with all that in mind, there's other, I mean, that's quite a process with the public hearing and everything else. So with all that in mind, we should be addressing any other regulations that we think need to be changed that have to go through the same process. So my question for you, Jacqueline, is the regulation on the, what do you call them, mini plats? Zoning.
Minor plats, right.
Is that something that requires hearing? Is that something we should include in this
Yeah,
process?
if we're amending the regulations, then yes, that requires the hearing.
Okay. So there's one that we need to look at and decide whether we want to amend or not. The others that I think we should consider, I don't think we address data centers in our regulations.
No.
And I don't think we address Bitcoin centers in our regulations. So we should probably do that all at once. So we're not doing it 5 times.
You're talking Bitcoin and data centers together.
Yep. Well, I don't think,
They're two different things. I mean, they're not even related to each other.
I know.
So,
they need to probably be separate.
but if we get one, we ought to be able to slide into the other one with the regulations, I would think.
Something I just seen, page 7, 24.5, standards, line item F. A single best site not to exceed 20 acres.
Oh, yeah.
What page
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 7.
24
24-5.
5, standards, line item F.
F is in Frank.
Well, based on the site that he just found down there, it's tons of acres, but it had a solar farm with it too.
Solar farm.
Right, but I think the lady was talking that most of them are 20 acres.
If you don't, that's just the facility.
Yeah,
If you don't
Right,
include-
but I think we need to specify that. So what are we considering a site? I mean, if it's sitting out in the middle of an 80 acres, what are you considering a site? The 20 acres within that?
Well, they're gonna build a fence around.
Well, they're gonna build a fence around it, contain it, yeah, whatever they've got contained is
Yeah.
gonna be the site.
so you got the road going
So
through
what
it.
if they,
you've got the
they
fence
have
around it,
leased 80 acres there, but they put the facility in the middle of it?
Well, still they have to, well, I understood, they have to still put a fence around the facility.
Yeah.
Is that not correct?
And then they're not necessarily going to put it in the middle of the 80 acres.
It don't make any difference where they put it.
Yeah.
Is that not correct?
So we're saying that the
It can't be more than 20 acres, including the fence, berms, anything else they have in that site.
Well, that's how
That's the way I read it anyway.
anything inside their containment area is the site, is how I would consider it.
so do we need to add a line into that, a single best site area not to exceed 20 acres
Within their property?
with
In-
Within their owned property or within their?
leased property?
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, we need to have something specific to that.
Including their fencing,
I
the
mean,
whole.
you know, say I've got 80 acres out there and they want to come out there and they want to lease it from me. Well, they only want to use 20 of it. I mean, you know, will they put it in the middle because the power lines are going through the middle of it? You know what I'm saying?
Well, I understand what
I
you're
mean, they're
saying.
gonna have,
I don't know that we need to be concerned about that.
We just need to make sure at the fence, everything is included in whatever they build.
so I think the question is, where 24.501 says location, and it says the system shall be located to a single site area not to exceed 20 acres. That could be interpreted to mean that the facility is only allowed to lease 20 acres in total, or own 20 acres in total for their quote-unquote site. And so is that what we're saying, that their location is only allowed to include 20 acres, or what are we meaning by that? I don't disagree with the vice chairman that it's a little bit confusing what does site mean? Is it their total property, whether that's leased or owned, or is that their fenced in area like you're talking?
Could I do 5 over here and 5 over here and 5 over here and 5 over here, or does it need to be 20 acres in one spot? I mean, it's pretty big.
that's, I'm just,
I don't know if anybody'd be
I
that.
don't know if there's a
happy
loophole
about it,
there.
You don't know.
I don't know if there's, I don't know if we need to add something to it. I know we talked about this a while ago. If you put it on an 80 acres, how far your setbacks will be and all that stuff, you know?
I see what you're saying. How would you suggest rewording that?
I think we need to define this word sites a little better, so.
It needs to be all
It's the
inclusive,
site.
whatever that,
Yeah, so.
Because I mean, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, because, if we're talking about their physical building and facility, I imagine that that's not 20 acres, right? How big is the actual
Exactly.
structure itself? And are you trying to limit the size of the structure, or are you trying to limit the size of the site upon which the structure sits?
Right.
So how do we change it? You guys need to decide what you want to mean by site.
I think that ought to include the berm, fence, anything out there, period.
Everything's inside the fence, right?
Yes,
So when you say
everything's
fence,
inside that 20 acres.
Well, okay.
So whatever we define as 20 acres, everything has to sit inside of that irregardless.
So if you have a word fence.
But see,
does that get it?
See, that might put a limitation on how big a facility they could have. That might bring it down from a 300 megawatt to a 200 megawatt. Because you got to include the setbacks.
True.
The setbacks is the fence. The outermost portion of the fence would be the setback line.
Well, to me,
Or the
the
property.
setbacks and everything are already kind of setting that, you know.
Right.
But still, to me, it's really simple. Site is gonna be everything that's inside their fence.
Fence is
If
gonna
you
be,
wanna make that no bigger than 20 acres,
So
then
if we go back to our feet that we determined,
No, yeah, I think you're confusing that. I think the site, I think Jacqueline said, you got to define what the site is.
yes.
is that,
So it's basically the footprint, all the buildings, the containers. Okay.
Right.
So one way to fix that would be is there a definition section?
Yes, there is. Yes,
To
sir.
just add, yeah, it's.
24-2.
24-201, I guess you guys just need to confirm that you're okay with what he said at the bottom of the site area.
24201.
24-201, it's on page 2 at the bottom. It defines.
Site area, the footprint of the best facility, including all buildings, whether on a property that is commonly owned or controlled or is under separate ownership.
I like your idea, add that fenced area and whatever included in the fenced area.
Yeah, so I think that you could say, including the berm, including the fence, including everything required for containment and visual instruction.
That would pretty well cover just about everything
Pretty
out
well
there.
covered.
And then the rest of it's pretty well defined.
I didn't know if we needed to bump the 20 acres to 30 acres to give them enough room to build a 20-acre facility.
I don't know.
there's your answer.
There's your answer back there.
See, that's.
Are you saying that's 30 or?
She's telling us
No,
that,
30.
that, she's telling us more or less that the facility on a 300 megawatt is 20 acres. That's the containers cover 20 acres. You've got boundaries on each side of that, all the way around it. So you've got the increased acreage in order for them to be able to put a fence around the whole facility.
What is the perimeter requirement that you guys are talking about?
We're talking about setbacks from the facility.
Yeah.
Well,
No, what about the perimeter? What are we requiring to be fenced?
the perimeter around, if it's a 20-acre facility, how much of the perimeter past 20 acres?
Well, they're gonna have to have enough room to get semis and everything else within that, between the containers and be working around a facility. They're gonna have to have 100 foot or more between the containers and the fence in order to be able to
Didn't we
function within the
address,
facility.
We addressed that.
didn't we
somewhere.
address fencing?
Yeah.
Yep. So I meant,
Yeah, I see
I
what you're
don't
saying.
know what,
Yeah, I think we should consider bumping that up.
I think maybe go to 30,
that's.
just to give them a little
I'm,
room
what
there
I'm
because of all the
thinking, gives them a
setbacks.
little room, and then the 30 acres would have to be fenced.
I think that's a little more fair. Time you get all the setbacks put in there.
We say in here on page 9, paragraph C,
But page 9,
page 9, fencing will be a minimum of 10 feet from the property line.
well, we talked about that too. Page 9.
Oh, here, yeah.
Fencing will be a minimum of 10 feet from the property.
So I think you're right, Al. I think 30 acres makes more sense.
The 10 feet from the property line is going to depend on how much they lease from the individual.
And you put, I mean, if you make it a minimum of 30 acres and then you put the fence 100 feet
Right.
all the way around to 30 acres, I mean, it's gonna now be 50
Well,
acres.
they may lease 40 acres, they may lease 80 acres or whatever,
I don't think,
but
that-
how do we determine the footprint of the containers can be no more than 20 acres? Maybe we write it like that.
That's on great.
The footprint of the
Just the
of
container?
the best containers cannot exceed 20 acres.
And then they can fence outside of that, which can
Yes.
take up to 30 acres.
well, to me, if you put the fence outside of that, then that's all included in the footprint. Because whoever owns the rest of the land can not do anything on the inside of the fence.
That's true.
For every action, there's the opposite reaction.
The more rules you make, the more gray area you create.
But you gotta. You understand what I'm trying to do?
I do, but I don't know where to cut it off at.
Do you think 30 is too much or not enough? Or
I don't have a clue, and I don't know that it makes any difference to me. We can put numbers in a hat and draw one out. I don't care.
Well, just based on the 20 acres I'm going by, what she's saying, it normally takes about 20 acres.
Right. She's claiming that it needs to be 30. I think her shaking her head back there. She don't think 20 acres. is
Right.
enough.
Because I think
Shaking her head or?
I think they
No.
consider acres being.
I was looking at her, we made eye contact. She was shaking her head.
I think the 20 acres is the footprint of the containers.
Yep.
So then it absolutely needs to be 30.
Yeah.
You get the fence, the berm and everything else outside of that.
Yeah.
So how are we're saying the footprint cannot exceed 20 acres with the, how are you saying that? With the fence not exceeding,
We're trying to keep it
I-
up, 30
I
acres
think-
or less, but
I
20.
think the footprint
containers
needs to
is
be
20
not to exceed 30 acres.
Donnie's thinking the footprint should include the fence.
yeah,
Yes.
we were saying the containers were the footprint.
The containers would be the footprint. So we're talking if we got 20 acres footprint of what it takes to put in a 300 megawatt, okay? It takes 20 acres to do that. But 30 acres is what we're gonna consider the footprint.
So with the site area not to exceed 30 acres, is that how you
Yes.
want to say? to read?
Yeah. I think that would probably work.
I don't really know why we need to limit it.
I don't know that
20
we do.
acres is 20 acres.
I mean, if they lease 80 acres, and I mean, they need to go around the whole 80 acres.
As long as we, whatever their
As long
footprint
as they
is,
meet the fence requirements.
as long as they meet the fence requirements, I don't know that we need to worry about it.
but we need to put a limitation on how many containers they can put in there. I don't think we want 60 acres of containers in there.
I think that's a really good point, is that that how much land are you all willing to allow the actual containers to occupy? Then, from there, you can decide how much additional land will allow the facility itself to manage or oversee for purposes of containment, fencing, et cetera, et cetera. But I do think that it's appropriate to have a limitation on how much ground the actual things are allowed to take up.
Well, why don't we put, and this is just a suggestion, why don't we put the footprint of the containers cannot exceed 20 acres? Or the best battery energy storage systems cannot exceed a footprint of no larger than 20 acres.
Okay,
Okay.
And that's for how many megawatts?
Well, that would, 20 acres is 300 megawatt approximately, right? Be less than that?
But the thing is that technology is gonna improve, and megawatts that require X square feet today is gonna require different X square feet in
10 years from now.
So I don't think you can do it based on megawattage. I think you have to do it based on how much ground
Right.
are you willing for these things to take up, and then how much area are you willing to allow a single battery storage company to occupy in general, knowing that that accounts for fencing, setback berms, water containment ponds, or whatever you want to say.
So then do we put,
Here again, I don't know why we need to limit it.
to how many containers? Or to the footprint of the containers, why we need to limit it?
you don't think we should limit the footprint of the containers? So,
I mean, I don't see the point of it.
my concern would be if somebody bought 80 acres and put 10 containers all over it, you're contaminating 80 acres when you only need to be contaminating 10. Follow me there?
Well, I get that, but, I mean, I
I
don't.
mean, I don't have a problem.
And they're not gonna make it, they're not gonna be able to make it functional by spreading
No, no.
your
but
containers
I-
out that much.
I don't have a problem going from 20 to 30 acres. But I don't think I think you have to put some kind of limit on the footprint. I don't think you can make it. I think it needs to be a limit on it. So, you can limit the footprint of the containers. And then limit the size of the property.
So when you say the footprint cannot exceed 20 acres, while the site area not to exceed 30 acres.
Yeah, if you define site area as,
It's on the vision on page 2.
yes, right, yep.
So you're saying that
So I'm
we're not gonna allow them to build a tier 3.
I mean, I just want to point out that we had the community's reaction for a 5-home quote-unquote neighborhood. Okay, you had the community's reaction for the solar, you had the community's reaction for a cell phone tower. You know, I mean, yes, I understand what you're saying, you want them to be able to be successful with whatever they're gonna do, but you also have to balance that against the community interest that you guys really had around here. So, we need to be thinking about something that might actually gain traction with the people as well and balance out the community interest, especially as it pertains to that, what's it called, master plan?
Comprehensive plan.
Comprehensive plan.
That was close.
Yeah.
Got one right over here.
So,
So here's what's on the table.
okay,
20-acre footprint, maximum footprint for containers, 30-acre site.
I thought about that. And why don't we, the single best site area not to exceed 40 acres and just be done with it.
Why is it growing?
And not,
That's kind of what Donnie's saying.
and not take into consideration the footprint of the containers and how much around it would be fenced and everything. Just say the single best site area not to exceed 40 acres. That should give them enough room within that to put a 20-acre site.
I think you're swinging too far.
Huh?
I think you're swinging too far. I'd go with 30, but I think 40 is too much.
I give up.
I mean,
So let's chew. Let's pencil in 30 on F, 24.5 F.
Well, you made a comment about the community. You think they would buy in on these if they have a chance?
She's
Or
concerned they won't.
absolutely not?
I don't think the community's gonna buy in at all.
That was my thought.
I think that you're gonna have a really big hard time with the community, and so if we do something like 80 acres or 100 acres, you're gonna get a big
Okay.
response.
That's what I want to respond.
Well, you'll get it.
That's when you're going to be up here.
I'll come up and sit beside you. I'm not very easily intimidated.
the only reason I said 40 acres, Dave, is because that's a typical. Most everything's 80 or 40s or 160s.
Well, you can make 40 of the site, make 40 the maximum. What we're saying is 30 is the site. Yeah, I think we're,
You think we're all right? Okay.
I mean, I may change my
But we
mind.
can have 30-acre sites all over the county.
Yep. All right. Anything else? Brain's running out of power.
Good.
Okay, so our next scheduled meeting is November is that the 11th? Yep.
November.
Agreed.
That's bad words.
What's that? And then will you redline these, the changes we've made? Why don't you send one to me first before we send them all out? Just kind of let me review it. Send them all out to everybody.
We never talked about, are we gonna limit these things to industrial?
No, we
We go to agriculture?
no, we've got that in there. We got agriculture, industrial, and commercial.
No, I meant, we want them to put these in agriculture land?
Isn't that in?
Not in this.
Yeah.
Prime farm ground. Then we're missing.
Page 5, 24-301.
I've just. We talked about the industrial thing at the beginning.
Yeah, we talked about changing the, loosening the codes up. I think we came out okay.
The only thing I was thinking about is back to the comprehensive plan about trying to keep as much agriculture land in production as we could.
Yeah, we are. Okay, thank you.
We need to move to the corner, right?
What's that?
We need to move to the